at this time.
I think they're probably playing Zelda, or maybe Minecraft, something like that. So Eddie, it's
That's,
good to have you here. Thank you for coming today.
thank you for inviting me, John.
Why don't you first just introduce yourself and tell everybody who you are, a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I'm Edward Boka, and I'm the CEO of Contracting Empire. And we do marketing for contractors. We build very interesting and profitable marketing systems that make our clients millions. So
Awesome.
that's
That's
pretty
cool.
awesome.
And the timing of this call, which we booked maybe 6 months ago, right?
Yes, something like that. I was actually like, oh, are we having a call today? That's been fun.
It lined up nicely because lately I've been kind of got to a point of like working on coaching type offers because it's become less interesting and more like, core direct response info producty stuff. It's nothing wrong with it. It's just become less interesting. And I'm actually like relearning about lead generation and local business now. Got my first couple of clients. It's a bit humbling to go back to being a kind of beginner again, but it's also a necessary part of the process. So the timing is really, really good because these are the types of companies you serve, right? They're companies who are real world serving local demand in physical locations.
Yes, sir. Huge congrats on getting your first clients. I think that's the hardest part. So, way to go.
Yes. Oh well, free trial, no invoices paid yet, but it's just
Well,
getting some campaigns launched is the most important part.
for sure. Yeah, I mean, if I would have a piece of advice for you is not lose hope very fast, right? And I think this
Hmm.
is like general business advice to everyone. It's a super competitive market, and
Yes.
there are agency bros popping up every day, like hundreds of them.
Yes.
So there's a lot of noise and very little signal. So it's hard, right? And contractors have been, they had the agency that didn't deliver them results, and they're already very skeptical. So the skepticism in the marketplace is very high. So it's just hard to make a name for yourself. But I think this is kind of for any market, right? So it doesn't really matter what you're doing, copywriting, direct response, or whatever it is that you're doing nowadays. I think it's all become more and more complicated to make a name for yourself, especially with the rise of AI, ChatGPT, and all that stuff, where everybody's now David Ogilvy
Hmm.
with a prompt, right? So,
With the online stuff, people are more willing still. I mean, look, the cynicism or skepticism now because everyone's bought something and it not delivered with online. But with online stuff, there is at least a kind of, if you're in that space, there's a kind of an understanding that you can actually do stuff that kind of defies the laws of physics a little bit. Like when someone has a hot offer and they've got good traffic, they can print a lot of money real fast. Whereas offline world, there are real physical constraints to how much money a business can make. They've got to hire people. They have to have a place to store their stock. They've got to put vehicles on the road to go places. They have to have insurance. Like these, and so these people are more skeptical by nature because of the nature of the way they do business.
100%. Yeah, that I would agree with that. From what we've seen, 95% of our clients are dealing with either sales issues or fulfillment issues. It's not really a marketing issue. I mean, even if we solve the marketing issue, then you still need to sell the job, right? So you still need to go to appointments and sell. And obviously, that is a little bit difficult because it's always difficult to talk to somebody that is an unknown person and then build rapport with them, right? Really take them through a good sales process, not just wing it, right? And then you also have to fulfill the job, and you have to fulfill the job in a way that you don't lose money. Like we have, and we've known a lot of people that have lost money by doing these jobs just because they underbid or they do all sorts of weird things where, instead of creating a change order, right, when an order goes over budget, they don't create a change order. They just take it out of their own payment, and then they take. We had somebody that actually took a loan to make up for 30,000 for the missing $30,000 that was missing on that project, and now they're in huge debt and have huge problems because they can't get rid of it. So Yeah, yeah, 95% is going to be something that is not marketing related, unfortunately. So even though you can make that 5% work, the marketing piece, you're still dealing with business owners. So obviously you're dealing with all the mindset stuff. And
Mhm.
then you've got sales and then fulfillment. So it's pretty wild. Yeah, it's definitely challenging.
You, if I recall, started out in the software world. So how did you get into serving the contracting and construction industry?
Yeah, so I actually started with the whole marketing stuff in 2004.
Hmm.
So that's been quite a while. I think it was more like luck, if you want to call it that. So um, I was really frustrated. Like SaaS is a whole different ball game. Like it's a different beast, and we kind of missed our mark. So basically, what we did with SaaS, we built a tool that was very similar to Canva before Canva. So Canva came out in 2013, and we built CoPrinted, which was a similar tool to Canva in 2012.
Hmm.
What I didn't know and what was missing for me was the marketing piece. So I had an amazing product. We worked for a year and a half on it, on building it, building beautiful designs, doing all of that good stuff. And then when, like the product saw the light of day, we couldn't market it for the life of us. And then Canva came in, they got an investment for, I think, like 5 mil. They went to the Philippines, hired like 50 designers, blew their stuff up. And now Canva is valued at like 6 billion, and probably nobody ever heard about co-printed. Like it's not even online anymore. Like the project is dead. We took it offline, I think, in 2015. We just threw in the towel because we knew that we were done. So I was always doing things. So, for example, then I had a client in manufacturing, and we took them from nothing. This was a box manufacturer, and they just started the business. And they were doing wedding invitations before, and we were partners on the wedding invitations. And then they said, okay, let's try doing boxes, like custom printed boxes.
Hmm.
And we helped them with the SEO, with the marketing, with all of that, and we took them to 5 mil because and then we realized like it's because we were competing with SEO in the wedding invitation space, right? So that is like if you want a competitive niche, look no further. Like literally anyone can print out a piece of cardboard, a piece of thicker paper, and call it the wedding invitation. So that's what we were doing with the SEO for the wedding invitations and co-printed. So suddenly we moved from that to manufacturing, and we saw that, oh my god, like we are killing it, like we are awesome, because we were very scrappy, right? I think my budget for marketing was $2,000 when I was competing in the wedding invitation space, and we were
Hmm.
making moves. We were taking on these giants that had hundreds of millions invested every year, like the Knot, or like Canva, or any of these guys that were doing SEO for the wedding invitation space. We were able to make a dent with a $2,000 budget. So then once we moved into manufacturing and more like this tangible goods kind of stuff, we saw, oh my God, like we can do some amazing moves. And then how I stumbled upon contracting, I was actually in a program that was called Client Kit by Traffic and Funnels way back when it was still legit and not a scam. And I met a guy there that was an amazing person, and we were building the websites for them, right? So we were white labeling website builds for them. And that relationship, that partnership lasted for a year and a half, and we made the money. We made money in the process. It was a great partnership and a great guy that we hooked up with. And then he kind of realized that, like this is costing me a little bit too much in terms of fulfillment, because we were taking like 30% of the cut from the white label services. And he says that he wants to take it in house. So they took the web development side of things in house, but we were already really well launched. People knew that we were doing a great job at this stage. So we just a lot of clients came over to us from them, so that was a little bit unfortunate for my partner, right? Because I didn't really want that to happen, but people knew that we were good, and obviously we were also super competitive and we were hungry, so we were willing to go above and beyond. So that is how we got our first clients, and from there on, it just snowballed, right? Like we've been getting people amazing results. We just did the math last year and we just launched our new website, and we did the math in 2023 across 20 clients, because we're still a very small agency and we want to keep it that way. Like we're not taking more than 3, 4 clients a month. Uh, we made them $37.4 million.
So
So that is quite wild across 20 marketing clients. So that's almost about 2 million per client. Obviously, we have clients that are making, 5 million. We have clients that are making 2 million. We have clients that are making 500,000. But across all of them, like an average, that was what we got, around 1.8 million, I think it comes out as an average between all the accounts.
So you talked about your capabilities, web development and actually building websites for clients. But the typical complaint that people have about web developers is, hey, they built me this great website, but it doesn't do anything, or it doesn't bring me any business. So like that's the part that most people are not aware of, is like it doesn't matter how great the website is if you don't have the traffic problem solved. So how do you solve the traffic problem for your clients? Because that's clearly where you're making the difference.
So it's a very holistic approach to everything, right? It's not just traffic. So everything works interconnected, right? So whenever we sell a service, like we tell people that everything kind of works hand in hand. So for example, let me give you an example, right? Like these contractors usually have truck wraps, right? They have their trucks wrapped, and then they drive around, obviously, to go to appointments and all of that good stuff. Now, this is amazing, right, that they have that. But if somebody sees that truck wrap, obviously you have a very, you have a, I don't know, half of a second to get an impression of the truck wrap. And you're not going to be able to write down the phone number or anything like that. But usually what people catch is the brand name or the name of the company, and then they Google it. So what happens is that once people Google that name and they can't find you, well, that's a problem. So
Mhm.
it's not even about the traffic issue. It's more like combining all of these things so they come together, so you have more presence in the market, so to speak. So, for example, even when we create a good website, like we had, especially in the rural areas, we have clients where we just launch a new website. Obviously, the websites are solid, SEO's on point, keywords are on point, like everything is good. And we fine tune their Google business profiles, right? We get everything settled there. We build the citations. What we usually see is that we start dominating the area just by doing these basic things. And obviously it's a whole different ball game in a more competitive area, right? So if we're talking about populations of over 500,000 people, obviously you're going to have more contractors in that area and more competition. And that is where you need to kind of start becoming creative. You need to start investing more into your SEO and local SEO. You need to start investing more into your Google ads or Facebook ads or whatever the means. But basically, going back to your question, there are two methods basically, right? So actually there are three, right? We've got offline, which is a big one, and then we've got organic, and then we've got paid. So offline would be anything from door hangers, yard signs, truck wraps, flyers, billboards, any of that stuff. That would go into the offline world. And then we've got the organic, which would be your SEO and local SEO with the website. And then you've got the paid part, which would be YouTube ads, Facebook ads, Google local service ads, all of the ads, TikTok ads, whatever your choice or whatever these homeowners are, right? So, and it's different, right? It's different. Like we deal mostly only with contractors that are high ticket contractors, right? So there's also a huge difference between the types of contractors and the type of jobs that you do. So, for example, if your toilet is clogged and you've got, shit coming from your toilet, like you are going to need a plumber right then and there, and you're going to call and you don't really care. You just want the problem to go away. So it's a huge problem to solve. You don't really care if it's going to cost you $100 to $150. Like, and basically the way that you make the decision is who's showing up first in the search results. So for example, for plumbers or roofers or any of these emergency services, for example, Google local service ads work very well. This is basically paper for performance, right? So what you can do if you, so it's a huge distinction between Google local service ads and Google ads. They're not the same. They're completely different platforms. Basically, Google local service ads, what was called in the past Google guaranteed, now it's called, I think, like something like Google. I don't know what they say, but they moved away from the guaranteed part because people were abusing that. Google Screened or something like that is the new name that they're using now. Basically, what happens, it's a paper paper call
Hmm.
type of ad, right? So basically, somebody calls you and then you pay for that call. You can also dispute the calls that you didn't like. So very similar to if people are aware of Home Advisor or Angie or all of these places where you can buy leads and phone
Hmm.
calls. Google Local Service Ads does exactly the same thing, with the exception that the lead is obviously exclusive to you. So that is a good one. There's also one marketing channel that very few people talk about, and obviously marketers love to dump uh, shit on it because obviously they make no money from it, and that will be referrals, right? So basically, if you do a good job, and we've seen this across all of our clients, when clients do a great job, they have people talking nicely about them, and they send them more people and more work. When people drop the ball and they don't do such a great job, then you have issues. So referrals are one of the easiest lead sources, right? That close because there's a huge transfer of trust, and it's
Hmm.
actually, it's a status game, right? If John is doing an amazing job, and I refer John, and I know that John is going to do a good job for that person, obviously, it's going to make me look good. Now, if I refer Mark and Mark does an absolute shit show of a job, now we've got a problem because I'm losing trust. Like, hey, you sent me Mark and Mark did a bad job. What's going on? So I'm kind of responsible for Mark, right? Somewhat, right? I lose faith and I lose trust because I sent you the wrong person. That's why referrals are such a huge marketing, like the best leads, right? The warmest, the hottest leads that you can get. Even if you're like, we have grown our business to seven figures on referrals.
Hmm. It's funny you said there because it's so true. Marketers always talk shit about referrals. The reason is because marketers can't sell you
You can't,
referrals.
yeah.
You can't productize it. You have to actually go out and do the work to earn them.
Yes, yes, sir. But I mean, if you have that, if your product is solid and your fulfillment is on point,
Hmm.
just like we had, like we didn't have to spend a dime in marketing because just people were sending us so many people to because we were doing a great job. Like the results speak for themselves, right? So only this year we're starting to do a little bit of marketing on the side to create our own opportunities. So just because I have tripled the team, so I just need to keep them busy basically. But otherwise, we've been growing steadily and it's been going amazing.
So let me take you back and just want to walk through those different lead sources you talked about. The first one, offline, and I'm aware all these exist. So like door hangers, truck wraps, yard signs, and billboards. Can we talk a little bit about that? How impactful is that stuff even today?
Well, it depends, right? So basically, I think everything works together, right? So even though they may not work by themselves, because obviously it's cold traffic. Like most offline stuff is cold traffic, unless it's trade shows, which is kind of warm traffic because people want to go to trade shows because they're interested in the trades that are being on display. So
Hmm.
trade shows uh, is the only one that's a warm source of leads. The other ones are all cold, right? Like door hangers. I'm leaving a door hanger in the door. Like you don't know me. I haven't requested for this initiation of contact. So obviously it's cold traffic. It's as cold as it gets.
Hmm.
So I think nothing kind of works by itself. but everything works together. So we've had situations where, because we're huge, like one of the biggest problems that we're trying to solve is attribution, right? So where are the leads coming from? What are they interacting with? So even obviously it's a little bit daunting because for a contractor that's paying, $3,000-$5,000 a month with us, for us to set up, I don't know, Wicked Reports or Hyros, which costs only Hyros is like $3,000 a month. It doesn't make a lot of sense, right, to have that kind of attribution. So I kind of had to build my own attribution tools and stuff that were more on the cheaper side. So here incoming my programming skills, right, were quite helpful. So we could see when people are hitting the website and who was the person that actually converted and what was the journey that they went through, right? So we can then kind of identify, like this person came from, let's say the first impression was a Facebook ad, right? And then they checked you out and they completely forgot about you. Then you have a retargeting ad, and now they see you in your feed again, they check you out again, but again, they don't move forward because they were on the toilet and scrolling at work. And now, but you already created a few touch points in their mind, right? I still believe that the 7 touch, I don't know, it had a term, right? Like somebody needs at least 7 touch points in order to become a lead, right?
Mhm.
So I think it's very much valuable today. Even I think maybe more than 7 are needed today because there's just so much marketing going on in the space. But basically, what happened is that now this person goes back home, doesn't have you on the phone anymore, but remembered your name. So now they're going to Google you, and now they see you on Google, and now they move forward with you on Google. So that's the same thing, right? I have that door hanger, and I just put it somewhere, right, in the house, and I know that when I need it, maybe sometime I'm going to check you out, right? And then lo and behold, I'm doing a cleanup in my cupboards, and now I see this door hanger. I go to the website, and now I become a lead. So the question is, did the door hanger work or didn't it work, right? Or business cards or whatever it is. So I think a huge piece that people are missing are the timeline, right? What is the timeline in which you are going to get that lead, and how much nurturing was actually needed for you to actually convert that lead? So I think that is a big one, like timelines. Like we had leads that checked out, let's say, the website in September and became a lead in February or March. Like we had situations where somebody checked out the website, they've been checking out the website for more than a year, and then they decided that they want to move forward and to become a lead. So it's very interesting, right? I wish I would say that it doesn't work, but it does, but not how people imagine that it works. It doesn't generate necessarily always instant results. Like all of the offline stuff is just a nice to have, right? So in terms of when rolling out marketing, I do not necessarily recommend doing a lot of offline in the beginning, right? So you should definitely get professional business cards. You should definitely create a yard sign, right? If you're doing a job, if you're a remodeler, or like you are working at a place, print out some yard signs. Like I think 3 yard signs like that are 24 by 16 cost under $100. Like there is literally no reason for you not to get a yard sign. If you can't afford a truck wrap, which is around $4,000, $5,000, depending on where you live, get some truck magnets. It's $100 for 2 or 3 truck magnets. Like literally, you just print, it's like they're decently sized, and you just slap it on your door. And even if you lose it, or even if somebody wants to take it down from your truck, it's really not a huge investment for you to have it. So that's what I would propose for the offline stuff, just to have like the basics, and then go towards the organic stuff because that is the long-term game, right? Like um, it's more of an investment that you do now, and then it continues to pay dividends throughout the years. Like we have a client, and he came to us when he was at 1 mil, and this was 2 years ago, and now he's on point to making 7, 8 this year.
Wow, fantastic.
So it's amazing. And the thing is, it's actually his marketing now. I think his marketing budget is like 1.3%. Like it's ridiculous. So But when we plotted the whole strategy out for, we don't plot things out for the next, only for the next month. We plot out a plan for 3 years and then we execute on that plan. So
Mhm.
basically, this was actually the plan, right? By year three, that we are in this amazing position and where everything starts coming together and working together. And he's been getting like crazy results because your kind of marketing costs, with SEO and local SEO and all this stuff, like it stays constant. Like we're not charging more if stuff works better. If you want to scale ads, well, you have to kind of be prepared to cough up more money, right? So that's kind of how it goes. And Google ads are becoming more and more competitive. And yeah, it's quite expensive, right? And expensive is, how should I say it? Marketing isn't an expense. Marketing is an investment. As long as marketing is producing a positive ROI, there's no reason why you shouldn't be doing it. To my knowledge, I have no knowledge of any kind of investment methodology where you invest $100,000 and you get $1 million out. I
Mhm.
am not aware. If you know one, like let me know which one it is, where you get a nine times return, because I'm going to invest my money there. But I haven't found anything. We were even thinking for ourselves, like, okay, like we have now all this money. What are we doing with this money? Are we going into real estate? Are we doing this? Are we doing that? No, like we're just putting everything back into the business because this is the thing that is going to generate us the most results, right? Like we are how do you say it? We are drinking our own Kool-Aid, or
Yes.
because
Yeah, eating your own dog food.
yeah, exactly, right? Because there's no other investment opportunity for us that can create a higher ROI right
So
now.
let's talk about then this next section about organic, and you distinguish between SEO and local SEO. So can you first off explain to me what is the distinction between SEO and local SEO? Because I think SEO itself is not well understood and it changes a lot.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm going to try and keep it short and sweet, but obviously there's a lot that goes into all of them. Basically, local SEO, when you perform a local search, right? So that has local intent. So, for example, bathroom remodeler or plumber or any of these keywords, any of these search phrases that trigger a local intent response, you will get a map pack, right? You will get, it's either called a map pack or local map pack, or like it has all sorts of names. But basically, it's a map with three results underneath it of businesses that are operating in that area and that
Mm-hmm.
perform that service with their reviews and all of that stuff. That data is pulled from your Google Business Profile, right? So that information that is displayed in a map pack is from your Google Business Profile. So when we're talking about local SEO, we're talking about search engine optimization. So we're talking about results that are local. Like that's basically it. And when we're talking about SEO, now SEO is national. You are not in control of what is actually international, but obviously now it's important kind of how you can geofence it, you can do all sorts of things. But at the end of the day, what SEO is, it's national, right? So for example, if I create a blog post about how to change my kitchen faucet and I live in California, there's nothing stopping Mary from New York going and finding my article, because changing her faucet in New York is going to be the same as changing the faucet in California, or it's going to be same as changing the faucet in the UK or Ireland or wherever it is, like
Mm-hmm.
wherever you are, Canada, Australia, like everybody's changing the faucet the same bloody way. So that is basically the difference, right? You can't, it's not geo-targeted, right? It's not location specific. Like anyone that is looking for that specific information can find it from anywhere. So basically we ran the math, and obviously they both have their role. So we actually now offer them as a bundle, right? So we don't separate them just because of this reason. So we offer both SEO and local SEO in our plans, and we don't discriminate between them because they're both important. Basically, what SEO helps with, especially for contractors, is the authority piece. right? Like by pushing content and being an expert in a field and in a domain, that is going to give you brownie points, right? It creates this EAT inside of Google, right? So it triggers the uh, uh, right. It knows that you're an authority and a trustworthy source, right?
Hmm.
So that is what that does. But what happens with these searches is that they don't really turn into leads. So I think like when we did the math, they convert like 0.06% or something like that. So maybe from 10,000 clicks, you are going to get two leads or something like that. I did the math. I don't want to. I don't have the numbers in my head, but it was coming out to about two leads, right? Because the intent is different, right? It's
Hmm.
usually an informational intent, right? So if I'm looking, for example, how to replace my kitchen faucet, as we were talking before, what are the actual chances of me becoming a client for kitchen remodeling?
Low, I would
Very,
guess.
very low. Exactly. So that's kind of what is going on, right? With SEO, we're kind of trying to go a little bit more broad, capture more authority basically in the marketplace. And with local SEO, we do the play for the leads, right? So local SEO is all about the leads. It's all about converting anyone that's performing those localized searches into a client. And obviously, that's by getting the Google Business Profile to rank high in the top three, because the map pack only has three spots. That's why it's also called the three pack sometimes, right? So some people call it like that too, because there are only three spots. Now it can actually be four or five if there are sponsored posts in there as well. Obviously, Google is in it to make money too. But usually these local intents are going to trigger the map pack. So that is all local SEO. So everything works together. And just to give you context and how important the website is, because we were talking about the website. Um, for SEO, the website amounts to like 60% of the ranking factors. And for local SEO, it amounts to like 32% or something like that. Very, very close to that.
Hmm.
Just from the ranking factors, how important the website is, right? We were talking about how all of these things really come together and get you results. That's why we start with some of these things, because we want to leverage the most of the budget that people have, which isn't usually a lot when they get started or when they come to us. And then as they make more money, they become more cash flow positive. Then we start investing into ads and start diversifying into different marketing channels. So we create this whole omnipresent marketing plan for them.
Okay. So you talked to me just a moment ago about a client who came to you with who are making 1 million a year, and over time they've built their business now up to 8 million a year. And part of that journey has been growing their marketing, the consistent lead generation that has helped them to grow sales over time. But when that client comes at the beginning and they maybe don't have a huge amount of resources, what are you doing early on that helps them to get the quick win, that actually helps them to start growing the cash flows so they can reinvest with you? And then how do you plot the strategy out over time? Like, how do you see where we're going to take this person?
Yeah, so I mean, it really depends from client to client. Like we have a really data driven approach, right? Because data doesn't lie. And we have all of these sources. You can look up information in Google Keyword Planner. We built our own tools for the local ecosystem for us to understand if people have money, where are the people that have money, and all of that good stuff. So it's going to depend from client to client, but usually uh, it's going to be the website first, because the truth is that most of these people have really bad websites, even though like we had a lot of clients, well, I can get it cheaper, no problem, go and get it cheaper. I have no problem. They get the cheaper website, they spend, I don't know, $5,000 on it or whatever they spend on it, because they don't want to make the minimal investment, they don't want to get the $100 website from Fiverr. They go, they spend at least $5,000 with on a website, and then the website doesn't do anything. It just doesn't perform. It's not doing the right things. It's just a really, really bad deal. And now they lost both the time and they lost both the money. So when they come to us, If they would have done it right the first time, it would have been good right from the
Mhm.
get-go. But usually the website is kind of where we have found very few people that come to us that have a good website that we can work on. And we're talking here about customer, like just to talk about what makes a good website, right? Like
Yes.
the customer journey needs to be on point, right? Like you cannot like most of these websites have like super complicated navigations where you can't really find what you're looking for. All of our websites have a super clear navigation. Like you know exactly what you need to click on next. Like we work with, I don't know if you know Nick Kalenda.
I
So
know the
he
name. I've heard of
yeah,
him.
so
Very good
he
designer
wrote
guy, right?
yeah, so he wrote 3 books on the psychology of marketing. We collaborated with him to make the framework. Like literally, there's nothing on our websites that is randomly placed. Like we even have a divider between the buttons and the links in the navigation because that creates grouping between the things. So basically, what we usually do when we build a website out, we build it with this solid foundation that we know that works, and then we set up Microsoft Clarity and we do recordings. So we see exactly how users interact with it. We see who rage quits and why. We see all of this information of how is the website performing. And then what we do from that, we just constantly evolve and constantly fine tune and improve on what we have. So it's a very, very active process. And I think this is our edge versus other marketing agencies and other people that are doing this because they kind of, hey, we set it up and we forget about it. Okay.
Hmm.
But how is that relevant? How is that going to work? It doesn't, right? It just doesn't work. So it's a super active process. Like we have maintenance for the website every week. Like we just always keep them up to date. Like we have like I think I'm spending like I don't know what it is anymore, but it's way too much money only on the security side of things for the websites. Because it's enough to get one security breach and one malware on your website, and you are down for days or whatever it is, depending on how damaging it is. If not, you're going to lose data or other things. So I would better pay a lot of thousands of dollars to keep things safe and well versus having the headache later on. We also have like this rocket ship that is super fast, like all of our websites perform, they load under 2 seconds. So we have all of these things that we do. So it also plays nicely with Google, right? So obviously, and it's not really, we're not doing it for Google, right? You're doing it for the user. So at the end of the day, Google doesn't give a rat's ass about you optimizing things for it, but it does care what kind of experience you are creating for the users that come to you. So if Google is sending you someone and you treat them badly, like obviously Google is going to penalize you for it. If Google sends you, somebody and somebody clicks on your site and they get what they want from your website, then Google is going to give you brownie points. So that would be like the short version of it, right? So user experience is huge on the website. So yeah, there's a lot. There's definitely a lot that goes into all of it.
When the client comes to you, and I'm thinking more about human factors now, a client who maybe last time they bought a website, they spent 5 grand from a web developer who built the website, and then there's your website, off you pop, and then they kind of have this realization, shit, this website didn't really do much for me. I need to do something different. I've got this website, it's not bringing in business. And they come and talk to you and they're like, okay, can you help me with my marketing? And you tell them, okay, first thing we got to do is rebuild the website, and then that's going to be an investment. And then the next thing is we're going to work together for the next 3 years to grow your business together. That's a huge shift from what they're used to, what their expectation is. How do you take them on that journey?
I mean, exactly like that, right? Because we take on very few clients, I don't really care. I don't want to serve everyone. I want to serve the few hungry ones that are willing to give it everything, that are willing to play the game, that are willing to play the long game, right? If you're looking for a quick rich scheme, we are not it. It's that
Mm-hmm.
simple, right? I don't care. Like go and watch YouTube and see Cardone promising you, I don't know, $100,000 a month by looking at the stars. I don't care, right? Like go, by all means, go for it. Uh, Because I've been there, right? And I've been through all of this shit. And I know what it means to go and chase the shiny object syndrome, to chase all of the squirrels and to do all of these things versus just doing things right. So I spend a lot of time in communicating in our sales calls. I don't even do sales calls. It's very much an open conversation where we talk about the strategy and kind of what are the options. And I don't have a lot of people moving forward, right? And that's okay, because the ones that do move forward are obviously are invested in their success, and we are going to invest in their success, right? I don't even call ourselves a marketing agency. I call us a marketing partner, and I mean that, right? Like, we are really in it with them. Sometimes we even invested our own money to just get people wins, which is crazy, like nobody does that, and the clients don't even know that we do this, right? We just do it because we want them to win, and we want them to make money, and we want them to get the results. So we're all in. If we say that, okay, let's work together, and these are the next steps, you can be sure that we're going to give it everything that we have.
Now, you talked about particularly for SEO, that about 60% of what happens from the point of view of generating traffic from SEO, of ranking high on Google, is down to how your website's constructed and the content you've built there. How does social media content factor into this? Is it important? Is it something that you work on, or is it something that sort of you don't get as involved in?
We do. So we do run Facebook ads, right? So we do create both engagement ads, and we create both lead generation through Facebook. So we do touch on all of these sources because, like I said, we love to bring channels together because the results become exponential when we start stacking these marketing channels.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Now, obviously, with Facebook, for example, right? Like, we have two sides of the story. We've got the organic stuff that you can do on social media, and we know for a fact, I mean, there have been studies out there for on hundreds of thousands of posts, and you are going to get about 3% exposure to those posts. So from followers, from all of these people, like organically, you're kind of looking at 3% of the followers that you have to interact with you. So basically, if you've got 1,000 followers, or 1,000 friends, or it depends on where you post on your business page or on your personal page, you are going to get in front of 30 people from 1,000 followers.
Yeah.
Which obviously, when it comes to eyeballs, there are way better ways to do it. So what we do to kind of put some logs on the fire, we create these engagement campaigns where you spend, like, I don't know, $5-10 a day at most, where we create these engaging posts uh, and things, and we don't boost them, right? So you can also boost them if you're not very tech savvy. That is fine. You can just use boost post, and that is going to give you the results, similar results. What we do, we kind of set up the ad using the post ID, and that basically creates an ad from the post that you made, and we basically boost it through ads. So you can set different types of campaigns, right, in both Facebook and Google. And in Facebook, that would be an engagement campaign. Or we want to create a click campaign, right? Like, for example, these kind of campaigns don't really generate leads, right? They're there to get eyeballs, to create impressions, to just grab the attention of the people, right? So for a budget of, let's say, $150, $300 a month, now you've got 20,000 eyeballs constantly on your content, which is great, right? So it's way better than 30 people from organic. Now, this is not to say you should not do organic at all. By all means, please do organic, because at the end of the day, having a business profile page that is well maintained, you're always posting from projects and stuff, that is going to create a lot of trust in the market to whoever is going to check out your Facebook profile, business profile page, right? But at the end of the day, like, we do this dance with engagement posts, and they work great. 4 impressions and 4 eyeballs. That's it. Like, maybe we're gonna get a few leads that just submit a quote request, but that is not the goal, right? I think it's very important to define the goal for each channel, just like how you have different types of campaigns, right? So we've got the on Facebook leads, campaign. You've got the website schedules or the website conversion leads where you actually send them to a landing page and then the user converts, right? And that counts as a conversion. You've got the engagement campaigns. Like you have a lot of campaign types in Facebook, just like you have a lot of campaign types in Google. You've got call ads, you've got uh, the display network ads, you've got YouTube ads, you've got performance max ads, you've got all sorts of ads, right? That you can set up in all of these places and they trigger a different response or they're looking for a different response from the users that it's showing that ad to. So I think it's very important for people to understand that based on the campaign type that you set, the AI is super good and is going to get you those leads for exactly what you wanted. So if you're running a click campaign on Facebook, you can expect all the clicks and no leads. If you're running an engagement campaign, you can expect all of the engagement, no leads. If you're creating a lead campaign, you're going to expect all the leads. So it's different based on the type of ad that you set up.
Okay. So with all of that said and done, you've got to, if you've somebody's come to you and you're working with them, they've rebuilt their website, they're creating organic content, they're for their website, they're building up blog posts, they're posting on social media, they're running ads, they're doing all these things, they're generating traffic to their website, and they're getting leads. At that point, you've just got to the point of getting someone to make contact with you. Then we get into the sales process. So what happens there, and where does you see that the challenges arise for your clients?
I mean, this is also another, so we have two groups, right? Like depending on what kind of mentor or guru you listen to, people have different sales processes. So there are the guys that don't want to go to appointments and they just want to pre-qualify the shit out of leads over the phone. And that is group one. And then you've got the other people that kind of want to see, okay, is this lead a psycho or not? And if they're not a psycho, okay, I'm going to go down there and set an appointment and sell them in-house. So now with the rise of AI and all of these things, I think trust is a huge piece of the puzzle, right? So the ones that actually win are the ones that go to the appointments in-house. It's very simple, right? Because there's nothing like a handshake, a physical handshake. There's nothing like sitting down at the kitchen table and talking about the project and the dream and how your kitchen is going to get remodeled, or how going outside on the deck, on the broken down deck, and just imagining how awesome would be a composite new deck look like. And with these, wide railings where you can, put a book or your glasses and, a grill, a pool, or whatever it is. So it's a whole different proposition when you go down to the people and you build that rapport offline.
Yeah,
So
I love
so
it. I just want to stop you there for a second, Eddie, because I
yeah, yeah,
love this
sure.
because all the complicated, fancy shit that we talk about in marketing, it's so simple in the end, isn't it? That you cannot automate a human relationship. People, I was thinking about my own days when I was in construction and selling to people. I used to go around with a bunch of timber blocks in my car of different types of timber. I'm selling the deck. Here's all the different types of timber we've got in the workshop. What one do you think would look nice out here beside your pool?
Exactly. And then
They
they're going to
touch
say,
it, they
"Oh no,
feel it,
we're
they
not
smell
interested."
it.
Or like, and I think there are many pieces to this, right? Like there are a lot of people that just trip over themselves, right? When it comes to giving quotes. Like if you are there in the house, like try to collect a check. Like that's it. Even if it's for $1,000, get that micro commitment up front and then come back and like get more of a commitment up there, right? So in terms of psychology, just getting that micro commitment of 500, $1,000 is going to get that client to move way easier and faster with you forward. Once again, I'm talking about the high ticket jobs. So I'm talking about either deck construction or kitchen remodeling, bathroom remodeling, home additions, home building, and all of that. Landscaping, like big projects that are over, $10,000, maybe even the higher end painting jobs and stuff like that. When it comes to plumbing or emergency roofing or stuff like that, they're going to have different situations. So with plumbing or blacksmiths, not blacksmiths, locksmiths, right? You're going to have kind of I'm locked out of my house, come and break down my door. It's pretty straightforward. or I've got poop coming out of my pipes, come and fix my pipes. Or like, and for roofing, there's another game there, right? You've got insurance claims, you've got all sorts of things where you're kind of not in direct control of the money, and there are these other entities that are usually involved in the process of you getting your money from. So it depends from industry to industry, but 100%, like the personal connection is here to stay, especially nowadays. Like more and more, uh, this is what's going to happen. And here's where people mess this up, right? So when you are to think about, right, they're saying, well, I'm going to charge over the phone for a consultation fee. Okay, but the other contractors are not charging a consultation fee to come down there. So it's not like you have the opportunity to make, I don't know, $200 for your consultation or $150 because your time is important. The other guys are going to be already there and they're going to be selling the project. So when it comes to competing, you really have to be very clear of what you're competing on, right? So are you competing on also, there are obviously we can have a discussion about pricing, right? There's literally no benefit in being the second cheapest. Like you're also out of the job and you also undervalue yourself massively. So uh, there are many nuances to selling. What we do and what is really helps is that we look into building a lot of trust upfront, right, with the website before they become a lead, right? So we kind of try to qualify them, but we qualify them not by cutting people out, but by educating them. We are a good fit because we have done 200 projects already, or how we did, we built 300 websites in the past 3 years. Okay, well, we know how to build websites, right? Like our websites are the shit, right? Because we know our stuff versus somebody that's, just starting out and building his first website, or they're on the 10th website. We have a system. It works, right? So it's different. And that's the same thing that happens with the sales as well, right? So we want to build that trust up front on the website. So when they go into the home and they're nicely dressed, they are branded with their nice branded shirts, they're clean shaven, or like most of these guys have beards and stuff, so they're not going to be shaven, but they're still clean. You don't smell of booze. Uh, you're not swinging. You haven't snorted some coke before going to the appointment. You are really good. We're laughing, but like we had a lot of contractors smoke weed and then they go to appointments and stuff like that. Not cool, right? Like you can smell it. You can smell it. It just creates a bad impression. If you can't go to an appointment without smelling of weed, how am I going to be able to trust you with this $40,000 project to work on? What is going to guarantee that you are not going to be smoking while you're performing the job on my... So usually there's also this guy, I saw him, he called himself the drunken roofer or something like that. He's got the YouTube presence and doing stuff. Holy shit. Yeah, it's a guy that drinks and goes and fixes roofs and shit. Like, bro, like that's a huge liability. Like, oh my God, like how? Why? Like, like put yourself in the homeowner's shoes, right? You've got this drunk guy that climbs your roof. It's, do
It's
you
probably
really
good for
want...
views on YouTube, though, right?
It's good for, yeah, it's good for views and stuff and for creating a ruckus, but at the same time, it's so bad for business. Like it's I would not, if you smell and you smell of alcohol, I'm not gonna invite you into my home to sit down at the kitchen table. You
Yeah.
can bet your left nut on that. So it's it's just that like people overcomplicate this shit. Just brush your fucking teeth, smell nice, be clean, show up on time, and you are good. Like 80% you're gonna get that sale. If you're
And
not the complete
when you
sleazebag.
are working with contractors, is that the level of granular detail you're going into with helping them? Is actually like coaching them through. Here's how you just show up in a basic human way and build trust.
Yes, we do that too, right? So we have those conversations. It's less about me telling them how it is. I kind of want to know how they're doing it right now already.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So usually, and if there's some sort of an improvement that I see in that process, I am going to just help them out. Right. So it's not really, I'm not this huge sales expert, right? but I know what kind of works, right? So I kind of try to stay out of the wholesales deal. But I do send people to other people. I refer them to Brian Diamond. He's a great guy that is doing sales for contractors, and he has his own process that's really working well. It's called the one call close. So usually on one appointment you close the deal and you have money in your pocket. So I think that's amazing. So he does a better job on all the psychology stuff and what people should be doing and all of that part of the transactional stuff. So yeah, in terms of sales, I just stick to the minimum, right? Because basically what happens, and this is where marketing marries sales, right? Because it's a huge problem if I can get you the leads, but then you don't sell them. Like, who does that reflect on? Because they're not going to take responsibility and they're not going to say, well, it was me and it was my fault and I suck at sales. Everybody's going to say, well, your leads fucking suck. Okay, tell me more, right? Like, I have this client that processed 1,000 leads and sold 8 million. Here you are with 1,000 leads and you have sold three. Okay, so what's going on? So uh, it's usually people just have a very bad, like contractors have a very bad relationship with the leads. They start with these assumptions that are really hurting them. You should not assume anything about the lead. Just as I go into those sales calls in quotes, because they're not really sales quotes, it's very much a coaching call, basically where we dive into the things, and at the end, if it makes sense for you, cool, we work together. If not, you walk away with value anyway. Um, So it's the same thing, right? Like that you're doing with the sales thing, right? You're literally coaching your client, which is the homeowner, to go with you because you've explained it better than the other one, right? You've educated more, you've nurtured them better, you have given them the information that they were looking for. So yeah, that would be it in short. But obviously, sales is a huge different ball game. It's very important when marketing and if marketing doesn't marry sales well, that always ends up in heartache. Because then you actually end up spending a lot of money um, and it's a shame, really, right? You waste the budget, so it's really bad. That's why we encourage people to treat every lead like gold, like an opportunity. We've had all sorts of situations. Like we had, I can just from the top of my head, there was this guy that was called out to build a deck at the mobile park, right? And obviously, who the hell goes out to build a deck at a mobile park, right? Like you've got mobile homes, you've got these trailers. Like you're not gonna sell. Obviously, you're not thinking that you're gonna sell a $40,000 deck, right? Like you're going there to put two pieces of wood and you're gonna call that a deck. Well, lo and behold, we have this client, and I told him like, bro, like stop assuming, just go out there. It's close by, it's half an hour drive. Just go out and see what the lady wants. Well, lo and behold, this lady, um, elderly lady, she just lost her mom, right? So she passed away and left her some money, and she always wanted more space for her outside the trailer so she can spend time on knitting and doing all these things that she likes to do, but she doesn't want to do it inside the bloody trailer park or on the ground. She wants to do it on a nice deck. And lo and behold, nobody went out to that lead. Nobody went out to that lady because obviously because she's living in a trailer park uh, place and home, like nobody went out there. And this guy went out there, talked to her, was nice to her, sold a $30,000 deck.
Awesome. Love it.
So we've got other people that say, well, I'm not taking on deck repair leads. Screw deck repair leads, deck repair, like who wants to do deck repair? Like, but here's the thing, like 90% of the deck repair jobs turn into a bloody construction because that deck is shot. Do you really want, like you had this deck Mary for 20 years, do you really want, like we can patch that for you, no problem. It's going to hold on for another 1 year or two and it's going to cost you 10 grand. Wouldn't it be more wise to just spend now 30 grand or 40 grand if you want some nice composite, and now you've got a deck that lasts you for another 20 years? Oh, take my money. But people don't go to deck repair leads. People don't go to one window replacement. Everybody wants to bloody replace all of the windows in the home. But lo and behold, you go out and you see like, oh Mary, I see this window, but the truth is that this vinyl is going to give out like on all of your windows. Would it make sense like it's going to cost $1,000 or 1,500 to change out this window? But look, I can throw you in a deal and we can change all these four windows out for 5 grand. Would that be something that would interest you? Oh my God, thank you so much. I haven't even thought about that. And lo and behold, now $1,000 job or $1,500 job turned into, I don't know, $5,000, $10,000 job. So these are some of the things that people miss out when they don't go to appointments, and they hate sales. I think they just hate money. So
I love it. I love it. And it's funny because this is like bringing back a lot of my memories from my time in construction and sales, that in like local business sales, anything that opens a buying relationship is so much more valuable than online, because there's a limited number of service providers in any geographic area. And just the fact that you were able to sell something delivered to that person, even if it was a small sale for 300 or $500, you may be getting a $5,000 or $10,000 sale in a year or two time off that same customer. You don't know. And even if you never get another sale off that customer, it's very high likelihood that that customer is going to give your name to somebody else around there who may be your next 5,000 or 10,000 or $20,000 sale. And that's so much harder to come by in a local business environment than it is in an online business environment. And I love it. And it's the
100%.
simplicity. It's all just basic stuff about human relationships that everyone should really know, but it seems like people don't pay as much attention to anymore because everyone's staring at their phone.
You can kind of understand sometimes contractors too, that they are, especially when you are also working in the field, right? You are the one that's actually producing the job. And now you also have to pick up the phone and answer to the leads, and you have to go to the appointments. Obviously, it can become overwhelming quite fast,
Mm-hmm.
right? So what we advise people is as soon as possible to start delegating fulfillment. So get subs, even if they're making less money. The whole point is that they can, in the beginning, just oversee the jobs of the subs and what they're doing, and then build those relationships even with subcontractors so they do the job. And then, as you move forward and as you scale and your selling becomes more predictable, now you can start delegating sales, and now you just start building this whole machine that is just very unemotional and just churns out money. You don't even have to drive out. You don't even, just for the fun of it, just because you like it. So this guy that I was telling you about that is going to do probably more than 7-8 million this year, he just goes and talks to people because he loves it. Like, he's such a huge networker, right? He knows everyone. He just is very likable. He's this Asian dude, and he's super likable, very charismatic, uh, and just likes people, right? And you can tell that because he just wants to serve, and he doesn't give a fuck, if he sells the job or not. Very detached from the sale, and I think that's a huge skill for anyone that's doing any sort of sales. Right, just be detached from the sale, because then it doesn't become emotional. It's not an emotion that you have on you if you lost or won the sale. There's no emotion to it. It's just a process. And you follow the process to the best of your ability, and you either sold the job or you didn't. It's very binary, right? So it's less about emotion. It's more about, did I do my best? And there are some things, right? We're teaching our clients to do some of these more some of these things that nobody really teaches them. So one of the things I'm just gonna share one with you for your audience. I'm not sure how many of them are contractors, but if you already spent an hour at that appointment, an hour and a half, and you did all that you could, and you gave it your all, and you've explained it, and you've shown them the options, and they still didn't move forward, before you leave, ask for a review. Hey, Mary, I know that we did not come to an agreement on the price, and obviously we didn't end up doing business. But was this appointment valuable for you? Did you learn some things, or was this, did I provide all the information that you wanted? Then obviously Mary's going to say, oh my God, this has been amazing, life-changing. Now I have all the information. And whenever I want to move forward, you're going to be the first person that I'm going to call and blah, blah, blah. Then I say, amazing, Mary. Like, would you like, I'm just starting out or whatever story you want to put in there. Like you can use any kind of segue, but basically, I'm just a small business owner and every review helps. Would you be able to take like 5 minutes of your time, 3 minutes of your time to leave us a review on Google or on Facebook? It's going to mean the world to me, and uh, I would really, really appreciate if you do me this favor. That's it. And then shut the fuck up. Like that's all. Like, and they're gonna say, "Oh my God, sure." Like, John, you have helped me so much today. Like, I would love to do it. This is actually a thing that I picked up from Damon Burton.
Yes, lovely
So
guy.
he actually did this, right? He posted a message about his contract, and it was really funny because I like how he worded the contract. And I reached out to Damon and sent him, hey bro, like can you send me the contract too? Because I would love to see the verbiage related to how you have this whole thing laid out. And he said, sure, I mean, yeah, here you go, right? So he just sent me the PDF. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like, is there anything that I can do for you? Right? He just literally triggered reciprocity because he was so genuine and just offered without asking in anything in return. Right? So he literally triggered reciprocity on my end. And this is kind of what you're doing there in the home as well. And he said, well, sure, like the way that you could help me out is leaving me a review. And guess what I did? I left him a review just because he's stinking nice. Even if he's a competitor for SEO, it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't, like there's enough pie to go around for everyone. And I left him a review.
I love it.
That he's very kind and he always helped me and he always got back to me and whatever, right? I don't even know what I wrote in that review, but I kind of knew what his results were for his clients and stuff, and I just highlighted that and told, even though I'm not a client of Damon, this is really an amazing person and should work with him. That's it. So there are many opportunities that people can take, and it doesn't cost you much, right? Like people, like they complain about the gas price, that, oh my God, it cost me so much gas to go to the appointments. And like, seriously, like, are you really considering the cost of gas when you're going to be selling a $30,000 bathroom remodel or $20,000 bathroom remodel for a small bathroom? Like, seriously, like, are you really going to like $20 or whatever the hell it's going to cost you in gas, or $10 in gas? Are you, like $10, 20,000? I don't know. Like, are you really pondering that? It's wild. Like, it's wild. Like, if people would say, oh my God, it's the time, right? Oh my God, it takes me so much time and my time is valuable because I'm making so much money. Then I tell them, fucking hire someone that you can delegate shit to. So there's no way around it. Like, there's no way around the bullshit. Like, there's always the next step that you can take in this journey.
What this seems to come down to is somebody's vision and timeline for where their business is going to go. And the further forward they can look at and see themselves growing, the less whatever bullshit they have to deal with today matters.
100%. But you've seen it, right? Like, we have grown as well. Like, in this journey, like it's all a journey of growth. Like, that's why our tagline is Semper Evolve, right? Like, they have the Semper Fi in the army in the US. Like, we have Semper Evolve, which means always grow. Because if you're not growing, you're dying. So that's as simple as it is, right? I think Ray Dalio said that one, like, which is one of the biggest investment peeps in the world. So obviously that's a good advice, I would say.
Okay.
So,
Thank you so much for your time today, Eddie, for being so generous. Where can people find you online?
if you visit contractingempire.com, that is our new website. We're still fine-tuning some things on it, but that is the fastest way that you can reach me, or look me up on Facebook, Edward Boka. You're going to find this amazing hairdo there as well.
Hey, now I'm going to go look at your website, your updated website right after this call, and walk through the customer journey and get some ideas for my own website too. So thank you so
Perfect.
much. Really appreciate your time today.
Thank
And
you so
stop
much,
the
John.
recording.
Thank you so much.